All right. I believe it is time to fly into the stars. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that reviews every single video game movie under the sun and beyond the stars. My name is Ethan, and with me here on the Nintendo Wii, I don't know what I wanted to say there, is Devin. How's it going?
I'm not gonna make you bigger.
Damn, I feel that way
Sorry.
sometimes. And when you get, when you get really old as a man, sometimes you ain't getting bigger. You know what I mean? It's just never
Getting
gonna happen.
shorter,
Exactly,
smaller, tinier.
exactly. Devin,
Yeah.
you and I decided against our wishes to review every single video game movie that ever exists. Right? Naturally,
Mm.
there's a lot that already happened, and we need to go back in time and dig up David. He's actually dead. He's a ghost in all those episodes. And watch old video game movies, but every now and then, and if not a lot this year, new ones come out into theaters. And we watched a brand new movie for today's episode. It's titled The Super Mario Galaxy Movie, produced by
Mm.
Shigeru Miyamoto. Honestly, she should have put that in there because I feel like he had maybe a bit too much to
You want
say.
that? You want that as a full title?
Yeah, it's the full title. Is the full title. Yeah, no, we watched the second Mario movie, sequel to 2023's The Super Mario Brothers
Can I
movie.
can I just say it feels like yesterday that the first one came out. Like I
Yeah,
swear it was last summer we
yeah,
reviewed it.
yeah,
Maybe 2 summers ago, and then like you're telling me three? Like
yeah.
3 years? It's been
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
Like it's so weird. Like my when well, I mean, granted I see a lot of movies in the theaters. I mean that's part of it, but like it just doesn't, it breaks my brain sometimes. Like I'm like when we watch like the Sonic movie too, I'm like, yeah, that does feel like 5 years ago, at
Sure.
this point.
Yeah.
But for some reason that 2 to 3 year mark, my brain just doesn't
I
comprehend it
have an
correctly.
easy mark of time for me. It does feel like 3 years ago because that was the last movie I saw at the Arundel Mills movie theater, the AMC in Maryland there, and I moved
Okay.
like a month later to New
Okay.
York. So like to me, it does feel like it's. I actually kind of feels longer, but I do feel that way about a lot of other things. So don't get me wrong. I completely understand. And yeah, they made this movie in a quick turnaround of
I was
three
gonna say.
years. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we could talk about here. I want to get your initial thoughts on the movie, and I'll give you mine, and then maybe we can bounce off. It's almost like we do this a lot, and we can kind of just press play, and it
Yeah.
just does it for us at this point. But I don't know.
Right.
What did you think about the movie? I want to ask you first. Were you excited for the movie? Were you thinking the movie was going to be like, etc.? And then what are your actual kind of reactions here? And we're going to be spoiling. Let's just keep it spoiler. We're going to spoil everything. It's too much of a
Yes.
pain in the ass to, especially in this movie.
Can't
The
believe Solid Snake kills Sonic the Hedgehog at the end of this movie. It was crazy. Just gonna throw that spoiler out there. I was shocked by that.
You say that as a joke, but someone who has not seen this movie but is a big Nintendo fan probably is like, he's referencing Super Smash Brothers Brawl because those were the only two third-party
Yes.
characters
Yep.
in that game, and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Whatever.
That's the ending teaser. It's Super
Yeah.
Smash Brothers, the movies here.
Go on.
No, yeah, I went in. I mean, I think we gave the first one an A.
Sure did.
Because I think we were surprised by more just Illumination's quality of work. I mean, they always do a good visual. I haven't seen any of the Minion movies, but from what I have seen, I'm like, at least it looks visually cool. I don't. It's not. It's whatever. Like, I am not something I'm generally interested in. But we're like, hey, at least it was Mario, right? Like we're like, oh, it was cool that they had him in New York City, and then they come, to the world, and we liked the comedy for the most part. I think our main issue we had with that movie was just like the music. They had licensed music at some
Yeah.
parts when Mario is known for um, uh, uh, its iconic music. So like, why are you using licensed music? We've had that issue with the Sonic movies as well, where I put Sonic right up there in terms of classic, like it when you hear it kind of thing. Um, and I'll just say, like all the good stuff we liked about the first one, and I haven't seen the first one since, so
Me
maybe
neither.
maybe the ranking's too high if we never watched it again. I don't know, but whatever. Is what it is. So going in, I was just kind of like, hey, if we get more of that and I just have fun, all fine by me. Like Mario isn't like my favorite thing of all time. I've played a little bit of the classic ones growing up, but and then I think we played Mario Maker together a couple times. The one I played the most was Mario Odyssey. I did like that a lot. That you let me borrow. Beat that game except for the final level because I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna be able to beat
like
this.
the secret, like you get all the things. Yeah.
I was just like, I'm okay hanging my hat. I beat the game, the regular stuff. I'm okay not saying I beat that. That's fine with me. I respect it, but not for me. But yeah, overall, like I went in just being like, all right, if I have fun, cool. And I'll say, in a way, I feel like maybe I was too harsh on Sonic 3. Like, and I am using this comparison because this movie was, I feel like what happens when you just what if we just did hype moments for an entire movie and we just ignore any sense of a story, really? Like, we have some minor dialogue, but let's keep it moving here, folks. And that's what this movie is to me. And like, that was one of my critiques of Sonic 3 was like, they were trying to go for hype moments and it kind of just didn't hit for me as much. And I felt the story, like they were trying to do too much and just whatever. In a way, after watching this, I'm like, maybe I was too harsh on Sonic 3 because I feel like this is what could happen even more so if you just keep turning that dial up. You like, because I'll say this movie had some really cool like action sequences, like almost like one take action sequences that I thought were really well orchestrated and done. Obviously, it's not people in green screens doing this, so they can be more flexible.
Right.
But everything looked visually cool. I love the color palettes in this movie. There's some really cool, like just with the Mario Galaxy stuff. I never played Mario Galaxy. I should have said that. But all the colors and stuff looked really cool. I like the different worlds they go to. But my main negative, you couldn't tell, is that like I just felt like I was just watching that. Like that's all I remember is that. I'm like, there was we can bounce a little bit more into it later, but like there's just elements of the story or like a message they're trying to get across that I feel like they just didn't actually want to get across or they just gave up on halfway through. And there's a lot of characters that I feel like either don't get resolutions or they build up to something, then they just never go back to it. So I think this movie is just, it's a cool one-off, one watch. But like, even if I was a kid, I feel like it'd be like, okay, like that's cool. Like all that was cool stuff, but then I won't remember anything else because there is really nothing else in this movie besides just like action sequences, which if that's what you're into, then this is your movie. But I don't know. I know this is a family movie and or a kids movie even more so. But it just feels like this is like, I don't know, like a different, feels like a different, we're in a different era of like compared to the first one even. I mean, I also watched Hoppers like the day before I saw this movie. And I'm like, yeah, Pixar movies are like, they have their action, but they have like, they're usually story based and like, are okay like tackling bigger things and like, we'll try it. Not saying it always works, but like, man, The Incredibles had dialogue, I remember, and has like characters. I don't know. I'm just thinking of all these things, and I'm like, this movie just, I feel like what did I just watch for an hour and 45 minutes? It was just like action. And I guess that's where I'll stop because I'll just keep ranting. But
yeah, no, I'll pick it right up for you. I think this movie was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I to sit, man, and like I have to walk on eggshells here because like am I being too hyperbolic in either direction with my feelings? It's weird. Because on the one hand, like they're doing things that I criticized the first movie for not doing. The music, having Mario reference type of stuff. Just actually to put a pin on the rest of it, just talking about music for a second. Criticisms of the first movie we talked about, a lot of licensed music, a lot of just the find one of the 880s songs that always works in these movies because some producer who's 60 is like, yep, that works for me. And let's just write him a check. You know what I mean? Just write another check for Bohemian Rhapsody, please. But when in the first Mario movie, when they get introduced to the Donkey Kong Kingdom, and they're like, "Whoa!" What? And and it's a big panning shot, doll, like they're moving around the camera around to show all the cool aspects of it. And I forget what 80s song they used, but someone found, I don't know where, and maybe there's more context to this that I'm not remembering, but the fact that there was an orchestrated music, symphony suite, whatever melody of Donkey Kong Country music that fits that. They made that for that scene, and then they took it out to then put in whatever licensed music it was. And maybe it just so happens to not be a Koji Kondo piece, not one of the Japanese Mario compositions. It's one of the British or North American David Weiss songs, or Grant Kirthrope, or whoever wrote the music at Rare for Donkey Kong Country. We don't care that much. Maybe I'm just exaggerating on the it must be Japanese Nintendo essence to it, but that was whatever, just throwing that out there. So I'm like, okay, yeah, there's more music here. And they are giving me more of the things I criticized the first movie of. Was like, I wanted more Mario stuff in there, and it feels really lame to say that now, but that's what the time I'm like, you have so much room to, like, okay, if you have this element in this movie, how come you didn't just make it one of the things? It doesn't matter, so then make it one of the things types of things. And that's what this movie is. It's all of the things. This movie is blink and you'll miss it to its detriment. Like you said, it's nonstop action. This is one of those movies where, like, I kind of go back and I'm like, what did I watch? What did I watch? This was just constant stuff being thrown in my face. I love all of the Mario games. I recognized all of the Easter eggs more than other people and less than the most of people, I guess. I don't know, whatever. I can tie all of the things here if I want to be like, well, blah, blah, blah. But that moves against the movie's detriment, and here's one good example why. Now, maybe it's because I hadn't seen the Super Mario Brothers movie since 2023, but I do remember that, especially in the trailer for this movie, Bowser's a tiny little guy. That's his punishment, right? And he's they got him, right? Because remember, he did try to kill them. Whatever, I'll let that slide. You can be buddies with them, Luigi. He did try to drop you in lava in a cage many times, but whatever. They're on the bee planet, which is one of the famous ones from Super Mario Galaxy, Honey Hive Comb, or whatever they called it, Honey Hive Galaxy, with the giant queen bee lady. And they're on that, and Bowser wants to be made big again, and he's trying to convince Mario how to do it. And how does Bowser become big again, Devin?
Let me think. Trying to remember.
Do you actually, or is this a bit?
I actually don't remember.
he keeps saying, "Hit me, hit me, hit me."
Oh,
and,
yes.
My brain is like,
right.
like, hit me, like, give me a shot type of thing. But then he starts like biting Mario's nose or whatever, and Mario stomps on him, and that makes him bigger. I didn't realize why until after after the movie was fucking done. I realized, because it was a mini mushroom power up that they used. Like all power ups, when you get hit, the power up goes away. They didn't fucking say that in this movie.
Now that you say, I didn't remember it, and then I'm like, I remember being
How
confused.
am I supposed to how does that, seeing these established legacy review outlets that aren't video game fans, God bless them, how is any of them supposed to understand why that made Bowser normal sized again? Because Mario stepped on him? If Bowser steps on Mario, does Mario get big? No, he needs to eat a mushroom. How does that, that is the exact element of they could have said that earlier, but they didn't have fucking time to. They needed to keep going and going and going and going. And this leads to weird moments in this movie where it's like, man, this is titled the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Not much from the video game is in this movie in terms of I was expecting set designs where Mario and Luigi were going around these small, small planetoids and having set pieces like that, and they really don't. This is more of it's a Mario Brothers sequel. We're going to have a lot of Mario Brothers stuff in it, and we're titling it the Super Mario Galaxy movie for, it makes sense branding-wise. It makes 100% sense branding-wise, right? It's like right in the middle there between old generations and new generations of kids. Like it fits perfectly. It's iconic. I get it. It is one of their most iconic Mario games. So that's why they named it after it. And they have some, space stuff in it themed, but they weren't really pulling much from that game specifically besides Rosalina and like that there is space, I guess, if that makes sense to me. And they could have had time to do more of that, but they spent all of their time on just having flashy stuff in front of you. Cool stuff, but like you talked about some of these action set pieces, they go by so quickly, I cannot appreciate any of them. There's a moment later in the movie where like Bowser Jr. is playing Mario Maker, and that's cool. But like, goddamn, I wish I could pause and rewind because it's moving so quickly. I'm not old. I'm 31. Like, it's not an age thing. I promise, folks out there, it's not an age thing. But like, they're moving stuff way too fast that it's almost like they're trying to hide, and they're not, but they're trying to hide elements of. That's what it feels like. They just got to keep going. It's way too much. It's way too much. I'm starting to really, rant, which is what you wanted to avoid for yourself. So I'll leave with one more important thing, and there's a lot to talk about. They introduced this. Okay, so this movie goes by really quickly, like I'm saying, and this ruins a lot of the jokes that they want to do, or they don't capitalize on moments that could lead to jokes. Because they have this need to just keep moving, and any moment where they need to sit there and let a joke breathe, it ain't worth the time, brother. We gotta get moving. This movie is expensive to animate. Miyamoto wants this done in time for them to release the Star Fox game that's coming out this summer, which is a very credible leaker has claimed that, who has, to my knowledge, never been wrong, claims that there's a Star Fox game for the Switch 2 coming out this summer. So you're goddamn right. They need to release this movie beforehand because they put this motherfucker in the movie to advertise the brand for their new game, and because Star Fox is Miyamoto's other baby. He loves Star Fox a lot. There have been many pitches of Star Fox games that he's turned down because he didn't like them. He wanted it to be his impression.
I wanted more of the Star Fox.
You're gonna get one. You're gonna get a movie.
Well, I meant I made hopefully because I do like Len Powell, but once again it was like happening so quick and whatever. But when they first intro Star Fox, I thought going. Actually, I'm going to save that. I will save that till we get more to.
Well, that's what I'm about to talk about. That's literally the thing I was about to talk about, is about the humor in the jokes. Part of this is because they want to advertise this brand, Star Fox, the video game, to their audience. So they don't really want to make fun of him. But they introduce this character, and it's got this cool like other animation style for his backstory. He's going blah blah blah, and he's got whatever. You saw it. It's very over the top and goofy. This is a character where after he says all of that, there should be some sort of joke punchline of like, yeah, I doubt that. Oh, yeah, that's true. Or okay, hotshot. Or Jesus, get a load of this asshole. You know what I mean? Something like that. But they can't do that.
He's supposed to be kind of like a Han Solo kind of. That's the vibe I got.
But he even plays it up like he's a joke. But they can't allow that because they need you to buy that fucking video game in June or July or whatever. You know what I mean?
Joke that I feel like also landed flat and then I thought was gonna be something was when Mario first sees him and they glance at each other as if like, oh, are we gonna fight over Peach? Like, is Peach gonna be like? I thought that was gonna be a B plot kind of thing later in the film, or like when they crashed on that planet. I'm like, oh, is Peach gonna be like, they're both gonna be doing the whole I'm gonna try hard for this girl thing? And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And then it never happens. And like, so why was that? So what was that whole like looking at each other? And then he's
because
like,
we need to have an eye towards the fact that there's gonna be a Smash Brothers movie, Devin.
That it's,
I guess.
So this.
It just was weird when I was like, okay, so they're gonna have beef? No, oh, wait, what? Huh? Okay,
God. Like nice mustache.
And he just shows up at the end.
Yeah. It's like, just
I don't know. It's just wasted. I wasted because I was like, all right, this guy, if you do it cool, he might seem interesting. I don't mind it. And then it's just like, so I wanted more of him because he seemed like a cool, interesting thing he could do.
Yeah.
And then he just disappears half the time, or. not, and this is, I mean, I want to point out the cast is pretty like heavy, like in a good way. Like this shouldn't fail, like comedy wise, but this just goes to show when you have pacing and who writes the scripts and all that.
Yeah.
If those fail, it doesn't matter. You can put the we've reviewed a lot of video game movies on this channel.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of movies we've seen where we're like, okay, this cast is killer. Like this should be awesome. And we're like, God, this movie sucks because it doesn't. It's hard to do it when there's multiple levels to a good movie, and like, yeah, sometimes actors can carry, but sometimes they can't. And that goes even for directors. You can have the best director in the world behind the camera, but if the script is shit, characters are shit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You need all the pieces. You need the whole team. And so I was just like, man, how the hell was this not like really that funny? Like
yeah. There's so much of like in this movie where I cannot help but to see the Nintendo marketing angle in almost every scene of this movie. And that's like maybe unwarranted because of course it was just going to be like that. Obviously that's what it is. It's a Super Mario Brothers movie. The angle Nintendo's had from the beginning with this is to advertise the brands, to sell the video games, because that's where they make their money, right? But like seeing that like we had to put Yoshi in here. Yoshi's got a game coming out next month. Whatever. Yoshi's a big part of Mario, so it's not necessarily because he's got a Switch 2 game coming out, but like I think of it this way. The end teaser of the Super Mario Brothers movie was Yoshi. Oh, there's a dinosaur egg that had fell out of the pipe in New York City, which is also what the 1993 movie was like too, which is also funny. Very funny.
Well, it can still be canon then for us.
right, exactly. But then because they wanted to have Yoshi be in another location, they had to make some quick backstory thing, and I actually kind of thought that was funny. He's running from the cops at the end, and I thought that was funny. That does not pay off for his character. He's not a mischievous character who does not understand social norms or laws or anything like that. He is just a guy. He's both a guy and an animal at the same time. He's their dog and a human friend. Doesn't make any sense. They should have picked one or the other. He should either be something that gets Mario in trouble a lot or a cool dude. And they kind of went somewhere in the middle with Yoshi. But they wanted to have Yoshi in a desert place, because that's the place from Super Mario Odyssey, the Tostarena Kingdom or whatever. Right?
I recognized that, and I was like, all right, cool. It looks cool.
Yeah.
I liked the motorbikes that came in. I was like, cool, are we going to get a
cool... And that's why they had that, is just for that scene, because they needed to have Mario and Luigi on bikes somewhere, or in carts somewhere, because they needed to get kids to be like, oh my god, and I could buy Mario Kart. You know what I mean? The $80 Mario Kart for the Switch 2. I cannot help but see, like, the only reason why they had... Because that bike scene wasn't all that interesting, but it was there.
I wanted more of it, because I wanted a Mad Max-esque, like, fight sequence, you know?
Sure.
I mean, I'll say this, like, even if it's not straight up an advert, I go back and forth, because, you know, we all like our favorite things, and we get nostalgia for our favorite things.
And I love Mario. I have Mario stuff is down there. There's Mario games most people don't own down in there.
Yeah. But I say this, and it's like, there's still a thin line. And I mean, we've had this conversation, I think, on the show before, where it's like the nostalgia core, where like everything's becoming referenced to something that we used to have. And I don't know if this movie, like I said, I didn't understand a lot of the references, but for you, they like you said, like others, like point.
They were like every other minute, man, to the point where some of it was just like, why? Like there was no reason to say this other than to make a reference. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, yeah, but like you said, to make a reference, because is that all that we can do now creatively? Is that we can just be like, hey, remember that thing? Hey, remember that reference? And I think that's what makes it tough with video game movies. I know we talk about a lot like, hey, how does this movie adapt from the source material? Does it take the story? Does it do references? Does it try to do something completely different and just has the themes? Sometimes it fails, sometimes it succeeds. And that's something I've been thinking about, like with this movie in particular. And even with like Sonic 3, I joked being like, oh, maybe I was too harsh, but are we trying to do too much with like the whole hey, remember that thing that you liked from a different thing? Yeah, well, it's now on the screen for you. And it's like, at what point is that good? And I don't know for me, I don't know what that answer is. I don't have an answer, but it's just like something I've been thinking about with this movie. It's just like, is this a bad example of just having too much references and that the audience, or even a better example was the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie, where we watched that. We didn't play any of the games.
Sure.
So we were like, is that supposed to be something?
Yeah.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people who felt that way from watching this. Luckily I'll say for most of this, like, yeah, I don't know all these things, but they at least look like they fit in the world. Cool. But my main critique was with the action stuff. But I was thinking of there's some stuff though in there where I was like, all right, they're introducing Star Fox. Okay, he seems cool. We don't have time to actually like do anything because we need to keep moving.
Right.
So is that just an Easter egg then? Is that just a cameo? Is Yoshi really just a cameo in the beginning because he only does action stuff halfway after that, the halfway point? Like he only does like his big other set piece was the dinosaur, which I thought was fun, but like it also happened within like 2 minutes, and then we leave.
Yep. You gotta turn them into babies because that's funny. And the baby Mario's in Mario Kart and the tennis game, and look, the gun thing that they used is the Super Scope Super Nintendo controller, and it's all blah 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 blah. It's just
compared to the
and
first
Fox
one,
McCloud, you know, because he's the Star Fox guy. Fox McCloud, he's on that planet with them, and there's a dinosaur there. So we're also referencing Star Fox Adventures, which came from a game that Rare was making called Dinosaur Planet, and blah, blah. There's just so much shit there that you're going to see a million YouTube videos across the next generation of
that's free marketing.
That's
all
free
that
marketing
shit
there. Then that's like, it's fun because there's an event horizon that you cross. There's a Rubicon that you cross on references and stuff where they've crossed it. Now, because they felt the need to cram so much, and it's my fault because I wanted them to do this, so it's my fault. Blame me. This movie's a D. Blame me. Sorry, I'm spoiling what I think this movie is. They've crossed the Rubicon and all this stuff where, like, now that's all the movie is. And there's no going back because now if they make a third Mario movie, whatever they would call it, and if they have, like, a change of mind on this stuff and they slow it way down, they still have, like, a couple huge, like, set pieces that you can actually sit there and digest and appreciate, like, the effort that went into recreating some of this stuff, because this movie has a lot of things where they recreate something pretty much faithfully, but it's zoom. And like, you wasted someone's time, not mine. Obviously, you made sure not to waste my time at the detriment of all the people that made this stuff. But like, if they have that change of mind and then they slow like a third movie down, so many people are gonna be mad because like, what the heck is this? Isn't like, and then people are gonna be like, oh, the second Mario movie was so fast, it was so awesome, it was all action, and it leads to a point where now we're like, yeah, you and I are adults. We are not watching the same movie over and over again every day for months until mom and dad finally lose the DVD, right? That doesn't happen to us, but that happens with children. I don't know what you said. What did you say?
I said or divorce. Like,
oh, wow.
Lose the disc or the divorce. One of the
lose the disc or the marriage. But that happens with kids all the time. So yeah, they are going to be seeing the same set pieces over and over again. Yeah, you as a Super Nintendo fan can pause and rewind and look all that, but like that's not enough. That's not it. That's not an excuse for why the movie has to move this quickly, move this fast, and all of these references, like. Miyamoto, maybe this is just the way the internet has characterized this guy, but Shigeru Miyamoto was a producer on this movie. His name is before the actual people at Illumination who know how to make movies. He does not care about stories in video games. In his video games, he does not care that much about stories. Enough loose of that needs to be there to make an adventure for Zelda is more than fine for him. He needs to be convinced about anything. That he wants cool new gameplay ideas, and that's it. That's why there aren't that many Star Fox games, because people keep pitching another Star Fox 64 or whatever. It's just the same idea again, which also is apparently what the Switch 2 one is going to be like, is just another straightforward one. And he keeps shooting them down because they got to be revolutionary in the gameplay front. He does not care about story. In the Super Mario Galaxy video game, there is that book Rosalina reads. It's actually about her, which is a little weird. And that's a thing you can, as Mario, walk into this room because that's like your hub. All the levels spin out from there. You can go in and she'll be reading a chapter from her storybook. And yes, when they sold last fall Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Switch, they also sold that book. You can buy that book. Like, that's the thing. Miyamoto didn't want that book in there. It's wasting time. No, who cares about story? And some other people had to fight to put that in there. So there are people that care about story in Mario, and there's Miyamoto who's okay with having Bowser just wants Peach and he doesn't need a reason. And Mario needs to save Peach because it's the right thing to do, and that's that. So now he, in charge of like a movie, of course, his idea of a fun movie for children, a fun Mario movie, is nothing but referencing the video games, referencing the character of Mario as much as possible. And maybe that's why there are so many, like, maybe he looks at Yoshi in this movie, and it's like, what do you mean? It's fine. He's there. He's his friend. He's Mario's friend. That's what he is. He's just doing. And sometimes Mario rides him. Like that's what Yoshi is. That's what I don't. What do you mean Yoshi's not a character? What do you mean? You know what I mean? Yoshi didn't need to be in this movie. They just wanted to have him in there because it's Yoshi and it makes sense, right? You know, but still, I'm going on and on and on about this stuff. But like, I can just to summarize for me, I can see how on an executive level this movie made 100% sense to them in every aspect about it. And I can see them not being, their minds not being changed. There is certainly going to be a Star Fox movie, and those are characters, but it's probably going to be like this in the sense that it would be like a loose kind of idea, and we just need to do stuff, and it's going to be cool, fun action stuff, and that's that. I'm curious about this live-action Zelda movie that Sony Pictures is filming right now in New Zealand. They have set photos of those human beings in costume.
And it's set in they said some of the sets are like from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Actual locations.
Because all fantasy stuff is they got hills there that no one lives on. That's how they're able to do it. We don't have hills here in America that no one lives on.
Or there's a McDonald's or something at the top of it.
I mean, the hobbits would enjoy a fucking McRib. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Potatoes.
God, imagine you see that. Sorry, I'm fucking breaking here to talk about the hobbits. That classic image people like to put up now of like the highway exit that is nothing but fast food everything, and you have that be the location where the scene where I take one more step and this is the furthest I'll ever have been. It's the other side of the street because he doesn't need to go over to the gas station. Wendy's is on this side. Whatever. I'm sorry.
Or you make that Mordor. Like, that's where they have to destroy the ring. They have to, like they get, like, what's behind these walls that's so scary? Like, we've never seen it up until this point. And it's just like, oh, no, it's peak consumerism. Oh, no, it's just too much. Or it's just, like, Vegas or something like that. Just...
now you have a reason why the eagles can't just fly it over. The smog would kill them.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
They don't, that smell of just grease would just... make them keel over.
We didn't talk much about Bowser, or we didn't talk at all about Bowser Jr. I will say, like, yeah, there is an idea of a story there of a father-son thing, you know, but like, I don't feel like it was paid off. What did you think?
Well, I was gonna say, it's my main other thing with this movie is like, and we've been on the record of saying, hey, even if this is a kid's movie or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to dumb it down or they can't understand relationships changing or character growth, whatever it is.
Kids are so much smarter than, I guess, the average Hollywood producer thinks. Right?
But I don't know. Maybe like, it's honestly, this whole movie felt like a TikTok reel where they got to just keep it going. Like, this movie would do numbers if you just did part 28 of the Mario movie on TikTok. What was I gonna say? So like Bowser's relationship with the son. The fact that, like, they have a scene where they're, like, talking to each other, and he's like, hey, I know those are your friends, and, like, but you said back in the day, like, friends will stab you in the back, or whatever, something to that effect. And I thought, like, okay, he's going to say that, but then later in the movie, he's going to tell his son, I was wrong. and like that was going to be the growth between them two, is like, hey, yes, being evil is cool or whatever, but like we're not like, I was wrong on this particular point, and like Mario and them aren't a bad guy, like we disagree on some things, but we're not like, he saved my life and I have to save him. We don't get that at all. I feel like they set up that whole conversation for some sort of like, all right, there's gonna be a second talk at some point
Right.
where he's like, no son, you're wrong and I'm wrong, like that's not the case, like maybe there was gonna be another threat. I don't know what was gonna happen. I just thought something, or even just like Mario and Bowser's relationship, it was like, it genuinely felt when he was working the day away in the bee kingdom, in he only changes his mind because his son saves him. Like he genuinely was like, no,
Right.
yeah, I'll take one for the team here. Like it did
Like, yeah,
seem
he'll
like that
get
was
out
genuine.
which also happened way too quickly. So like this is clearly Mario assume this is a trick or something. Like, he's just immediately whatever. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's such a quick turnaround, because like even when they do the whole like Bowser's normal size again, and like, oh yep, well come on, let's go, keep on marching. It's like, cool, he's on the team. That felt like, okay, yeah, they're doing this for a comedic effect here, but like he means it. But I'm a bit confused. And then yeah, they're not bad guys and blah blah blah. Just that, like you said, not have that ever be like reconciled. But what they really wanted is for, because they want Bowser to be the bad guy in the next movie again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at least proud of the fact that they moved on from him needing to have Peach. Like, literally, he has moved on from that relationship he has or whatever.
Yeah.
Is interesting. But, yeah, I mean, just even the fact of, like, Bowser tells, when Luigi or Mario, whatever one of them, tells Bowser, like, yeah, your kid tried to kill us to get you, and he could use some guidance or blah blah blah. Bowser's like, I haven't been a good dad. I actually haven't seen him in years. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that would have some sort of payoff, and it doesn't. In fact, he comes to realize he's a good dad, because all the memories that they show us of him taking care of little baby Bowser Jr. is him being an awesome father. You know what I mean? Doing puppet time play, like that is,
like the
A
puppet
caliber.
The
animation on that
looked
was
really good.
Yeah,
It looked really top notch. Yeah,
exactly.
Like the texture difference to make it feel like it was an actual puppet compared to
It was good.
a cartoon. It was like, all right, cool, nice work. Yeah.
They only show him being a good dad in a literal fatherhood sense, on taking, entertaining and taking care of the child. Maybe morals aside, we don't really know. Not really. But because you can almost argue like he's just being goofy about wanting to blow up the universe. Like, come on, use your brain. You won't have anything left if you blow everything up. But anyway, then that doesn't get paid. Like, I was expecting, like, that line you said, Bowser Jr. says to Bowser, well, friends will only stab you in the back, and that's why I got kicked out of school or whatever, or boarding school or whatever. That's why I don't have any friends. I was expecting, like, that to come around and for Bowser Jr. to realize that, like, he isn't correct himself, maybe, and maybe having, Bowser literally tell him, or not, actively tell him, like, he realizes himself, I need to have friends, and Bowser Jr. witnesses this or something. I don't know, but, like, like, I'm with you. Like, it's kind of wild. Like, why even bother having that in there? Like, because he's his son, and they feel obligated to have some sort of, we didn't mention him in the last movie, so there has to be some sort of reason. It just felt like they built up
something, and then they just didn't, because even when they're at the end, when they have that final battle, like, I thought there was going to be, that's where the resolution was going to be, or, I don't know, just like there was no conclusion to that, except they're in the jail on the end credits or whatever, and it's like they still aren't showing me anything with that, except that, hey, don't worry, these guys will return.
Yeah, come on, go. It's like they're playing catch in a very stereotypical movie, like, son, come on, let's go, blah blah blah. Like, they instantly turn into that, which is so weird.
But there's another issue, like the same thing where we're building up to something, because I mentioned earlier the Star Fox and Mario, like, oh, are they gonna fight? Are they gonna try to both go after, like, not go after Peach, but like they both have, oogly eyes for Peach, and they, there's gonna be some conflict there? No, okay. But the reason I even thought that in the first place was because early in the movie, and we saw it to some degree in the first movie, but earlier in the movie, there is dialogue from Yoshi and Luigi saying, hey, you just got to ask her out, basically. You just got to tell her how you feel. And like, he doesn't do it in the beginning of the movie. You thought maybe he would, but then the whole, you know, Bowser Jr. comes and attacks or whatever. So like they get distracted or whatever. And then I thought maybe they would do something later in the film, and they hint at it. I think Luigi mentions it one more time or something at somewhere in the halfway part, but none of that was at the end. Yes, she kisses him, but like I'm like, no, that's not. You can't resolve it.
It wasn't
like
his
that.
agency. He didn't do the thing that he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? In fact, he almost kind of turtle shells backwards. He goes to do the handshake. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, what are you doing? Yeah, that was.
So that never was resolved, or doesn't feel like that was,
because these characters are going to exist in Mario 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and we can't just have. Well, we gotta have them get married immediately. You know, it's not gonna.
I mean, I'm all. We've talked about this.
I'm with you 100%. I'm just thinking from that stupid producer side.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not. We've said before, not every arc needs to end. Right in one movie, we talked about that with Sonic 3. That was one of our things where we're like, oh, we wish Shadow and Sonic still had unresolved conflict at the end of that movie, so that you can bring them back for a fourth one. That'd be cool. Not everything needs to be resolved, but the fact that I just feel like that was like one in the first 15 minutes of the film. It's like usually it's like a book or anything type of art your story you're trying to tell in any art form is like, all right, here is gonna be our driving forces in this story. Like we have Bowser Jr. as our main antagonist. We have our protagonist who has feelings for another character. That's going to be something that needs to pop up at some point. And we just never get, like, even with the Bowser Jr. thing, it's just like it just felt like we just needed a reason to have them get separated at some point, sometimes, and then team up on others. But like all the kind of, to me, like character relationship stuff that we got definitely more in the first one just wasn't here. It just felt like I feel like there was it felt like maybe less than 100 lines in this movie total that aren't just people going like, ugh, yeah, ugh.
While referencing
from action
things, yeah.
While referencing things.
Yeah.
So like, which is, maybe that's how they were able to get this cast, because maybe like, hey, we just need to do fucking 10 lines, man. Just it'll be an afternoon.
Keegan-Michael Key was in there for an afternoon, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like,
like
I forgot Toad was even going to be in this movie.
Dude, I don't even think Mario spoke. Like, it didn't feel like he spoke that much.
Yeah.
But when he did, they just said lines like, "Oh, you should say something to Peach." "Oh yeah, bet." And then like,
God, I cannot get on board with the word "bet" being used like that. I'm still getting confused. Maybe I am old. I just forgot. Like, oh yeah, they never said Donkey Kong was going to be in this movie because he's not. Which is fine. I didn't really like Seth Rogen's portrayal of Donkey Kong all that much, but yeah, even in that first movie, Mario has an arc. He wishes his dad respected him and his choices. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But that's, we have to, like,
Luigi even joked that he needs a girl at one point too.
Yeah,
like,
I thought that was
anything
funny.
Else.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, they're teasing her at the end, which is so lame. Yeah. So a lot of things in this movie are like copycat stuff from other animated movies. The one thing that sticks out to me the most is when they're in the big Gateway Galaxy, the big like kind of like airport kind of hub thing. And Peach and Toad go up to the information desk, and it's Rob the Robot from the NES. He was an actual toy that interacted with your Nintendo Entertainment System. Kind of sucks, but people have nostalgia for him, and it's a cool design. And he's in Smash Brothers. And it's the same, like, I am the person you're asking for help, and I am extremely slow. Same bit from Zootopia, the Disney movie, with there was a sloth that was I didn't see that movie, but that was in like so many trailers and stuff like that. Like, I know that's pulled from that. We got to have a casino scene. We got to have what was his name that plays Wart the frog guy? Whatever. Like he was a big actor. I was like, damn, he's in there, and they just it's all reference stuff. It's all like, it'd be cool if we have like a Don smoking a cigar type of guy in this movie in a casino, and then that's how we can have Mario 2 stuff in there, and blah blah blah. And it's all, again, reference stuff mile a minute. This movie is titled The Super Mario Galaxy Movie, and one of the things that they pulled from that is the character Rosalina. They had her in there. I saw someone before I saw the movie, so I was, I guess, spoiled. It's like she's in the movie for a total runtime of 10 minutes and 48 seconds or something like that. And it's like, yeah, there's a million characters in this movie, and of course she's not going to be going with them on the journey, I imagined. But yeah, she's kind of one note in this movie, but she didn't really need to be anything more than that. I was expecting more from Peach in terms of like a story, character than her. She makes more sense that she has her life figured out and wouldn't need to have an arc of any sort in there. But they wanted to have this thing, because I forgot in the first movie that like the Toads just found this baby girl, and that's Princess Peach, right? I remember that they did set that up that way. And she's got a mom and a dad somewhere. Where did she come from? This movie does make up this version of the story that she has a sister, and that's what Rosalina is. That's not in the games, because again, Miyamoto doesn't want any story. And even if there was, I sort of fucking heard it from a million times by now that like, oh, they're sisters or whatever. So that was the thing they made for the story of this movie. That was a decision they made for this story here, and they didn't do anything with it. That's what's crazy to me. Why even bother? You made this decision for the sake of this movie's story. So then why did you just kind of poop it out there at the end? These characters don't even talk to each other at the end. There is no resolution at the end where Peach and Rosalina are talking to each other. Because guess what? It's a stupid-ass nitpick, but since there is nothing presented at all for any reason of why didn't Rosalina ever go back? She clearly is living a happy life on some spaceship with all her little star children. Why didn't she pick up her sister?
And she was reading the books about
She knows
her
very
sister.
well about... She knows about the last movie. You know what I mean? Like, that, like... Oh, I always wanted to know where I come from. She's my sister. I gotta save her. But then there's nothing. There's nothing there. I'm convinced they're not actually sisters, and I'm being gaslit here by the movie. That like, no, they're gonna be like, no, we never said that. What the fuck you talking about? Rosa who? Huh? Space? Mario jumps. He can't fly. What? This movie's gaslighting me, man. Yeah, that's because again, like, whatever Bowser Jr. stuff and Bowser, like, yes, that they made story decisions for this movie. Cool, I get it. Bowser Jr.'s introduction in the Mario games was in Sunshine, trying to steal Peach because Bowser lied and told him that Peach is his mom. And she's rescuing him from the bad man Mario. That's just what that game's story was. There's voice acting in that game. It's not good at all. But so whatever, they made up stuff for their relationship for this movie, but that's fine. That all makes sense. But like, they made up this story idea, and they decided to not actually do anything with it. And that, to me, there's nothing more of an indicator of this don't stop, just go, who gives a fuck, filmmaking, animation making, whatever. We got to hit a 90-minute thing because this is an expensive-ass thing to make, and really, like, we're only wasting money by having it be longer. We don't need to make a longer movie. We don't need to spend all this time for what we already got their money. Like, that's the mentality. We already got their money, and they will see another one. Like, we could tell them to go fuck themselves. They will see the next one. You know what I mean? Like, we know we have them, so just, like, whatever. Like, get it done as quickly as possible, because we got to work on in the next one. And Miyamoto wants a Star Fox movie, I imagine. You know what I mean? And all this stuff, it's all advertising stuff at the end of the day. This movie just goes too fast. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, to go back to my point where it's just like all the critiques I had for Sonic 3. I just keep going back to that because it's like I know we will re-review it or whatever. Technically, I think at some point. I don't remember what our schedule is for that, but
oh god,
doesn't
Devin,
matter.
We have to do a watch along of the second movie this month.
Oh shit, we do. Yeah.
Fuck. That'll be fun though. We'll talk later.
Yeah, but like, I think it just goes back to, it's like there's a way to do references when you're pulling from other things, and I'm not going to be the decider of what is good and bad. If we just you kind of know it when you see it. But I also think there's a lot of people who don't know it when they see it or just don't care, I guess. But like I said,
Yeah.
I have my favorite things where I've seen movie references or whatever to adaptations or whatever or sequels, whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I get it. For maybe someone who's like just a diehard Mario guy and they're like they fucking love this shit. More power to you. I just think you could have still done this movie and fleshed out some of the storyline a lot more. Because guess what? This movie visually, one of the better video game movies we've seen. Period. Like
Sure, yeah.
like visually, like looks really well. I thought the color palette was even more wide variety in a good way compared to the first one. I just feel like that puppet scene. Yeah, I keep pointing to that. That one was like really good. Like I'm like that looks amazing. It looks great. Like they had all that. They had the great cast on paper. You know what I mean? They had all these things, and it's just like their direction was wrong. Where they like we need to make this as really the speed of this film is just insane. Like I think that's the biggest issue. Like even the references maybe to some degree I would have been like whatever about if they just slowed the fuck down. But like I'm like, was the first movie like this? Like you said, feeling gaslit. I'm like, was the first movie this?
Like there was
like I was a little tired going to the theater,
but
I was a little tired going to the theater because I saw it on a Thursday night, and I was like, oh, am I just tired? But like, what the fuck? Like I just feel like I got just blasted. Like sure, some of the shit was cool that I saw. Don't get me wrong, but also I'm like, this didn't even need dialogue. You could have just did this, and I guess that would have been whatever. Honestly, this is like the 20-minute movie we watched on this for our latest season, the Final Fantasy.
Oh, sure.
Where it's like, if you're into this, you just got more of it, cool. But there's no dialogue really that's worth it, your time, or story that's worth your time. Like it just is aura moments, like I like to say. Like it's just, I just hope that this is
people that
like all these are going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just our own fault, Ethan's, because we were like, oh, we're
I
a video
wanted
game movie
this.
renaissance.
We
wanted more adaptations that were more faithful, but maybe the dial has been turned too far over, and it's like,
I wanted this. Listen, I will just say this about the references. I felt insulted by some of the references because they were just made just because they should. Bowser says on this, sometimes life does something on this rainbow road of life, or he says something. There's references like that where it's like, why would you say this other than the fact that it's a thing an audience member is gonna, you know what I mean? That's where it doesn't feel intelligent. This movie is not full of intelligent references. It's a spreadsheet of things. People typed in a bunch of shit into a spreadsheet and they marked off, is there a place we can put this? Yes. Okay,
you know
cool.
what?
Keep it going. You know what I mean? They're gonna love it.
At least the Super Mario Brothers movie, the 80s one, 90s one that we saw, at least was bold and yes, took pieces from the from what Mario is,
we love that
to some degree. But we love that movie because guess what? At least it was like trying to be its own thing. You know what I mean?
For better or worse.
For better or for worse. I don't know. Like I said, there's ways to go about things, or I'm never going to claim that we're the experts of it, but at least we've watched a lot of these, and I just hope that this isn't. Yeah, we're getting more video game movies, but I hope it's just not going to be what this movie was. Like
from the
honestly,
side,
if you took away the visuals, and you took away this cast, those two things, I know those are big things, don't get me wrong, but if you took away those two things, is this any different than the Borderlands movie? At least the Borderlands movie, I guess, wasn't super filled with references, at least the ones I knew, but like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, are we that far off? Really? Like, the more we,
I would just, all the thing as I would argue is the visuals in the cast is all this movie has. So that's it. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have made the choices they made if they didn't have the characters or the cast and the visuals. Unfortunately, I mean, like, you know what? Fuck it. I want a cut of this movie that's 3 times as long. And when I mean that, all I mean is that hold every frame 3 times. Slow the movie down 3x.
I would like to see a cut
so
of the
that
dialogue
can actually
just to
pay
see
attention.
how much actual dialogue there is in this movie. Like, that'd be interesting to like. Is it 20 minutes? Is it 15? Is it 10? Like, I mean, like,
Um,
where there's not them, like, mid-battle. Like, I'm just saying, like, where characters are conversing.
yeah, yeah.
Because, like I said, I think my other issue with this film isn't just the references. I think it's just the general speed. Because it just felt like a weird TikTok where I just
Yeah, it
had
was
to
just
be,
moving way too
hey,
fast.
did you know you could buy this new? It just might as well have been that. Like, like, holy
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
Visually looks great, but too much almost. Like, too much.
Like it's visually looks great, but like for what purpose? Like I didn't get to see much. It was moving that fast. And like, hey, if you're watching this and you really did like this movie, more power to you, I guess. I want to get people's I want to understand like how much does this stuff matter to you? Because like yeah, there's always going to be someone that is maybe defensively enjoying a thing and has to be like throw away, you know what I mean? Like oh well, it's not that big, or like I see the angle of like it's a kids movie all the time, and we already said kids deserve good movies. That's how they learn to grow up and appreciate good movies in general. It's because they'll remember the good movies, you know what I mean? And they'll remember sugar movies. That's what this is. It's just candy. Um, but like if you really are like disagreeing with us on a real level that isn't like some sort of defensive thing, because again, I'm a big Mario fan. As you get older, you're gonna move on from Nintendo fandom in the way in which you enjoy it right now. Like I was like that during the era that this game came out, during the late 2000s. I was Nintendo diehard, and then like I kind of grew out of a lot of the fandom stuff, and it was like cool. They're gonna make stuff. I appreciate stuff on a creation level. I appreciate like the Nintendo design philosophy on stuff. Like that's what I really like. I love a Mario Odyssey because of what they were willing to do. That was like things that were maybe taboo for Mario to do before. You know what I mean? Like that's what I grew into, that type of person. And assuming that you're not that type of person yet, and you are still in the super diehard Nintendo fandom, then maybe just think for a second. Will you in 6 months time think back on this movie and be like, hell yes, I actually enjoy this? Or will you be disappointed by all the things it wasn't able to do? Because there are so many set piece stuff in here that we're like, this is great, but because they move on so quickly, was it even worth it? Because you didn't get any time to appreciate it. People love the majesty of the Mario Galaxy games because it's great gameplay, obviously, but you're seeing it all. It's a different pace than what this movie is. I would argue you're not getting served the same Mario-ness that the games you love do in this movie. You could, and again, I said this, if you take away the visuals and the cast, they wouldn't make any of these decisions. But if this wasn't a Mario IP thing, we wouldn't be having any of these conversations. It's because they chose to do what they did with Mario for this, is how they got here. If this was any other video game franchise that you, audience member, are not a big fan of, would you still think the same, or would you not? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too mean here, but I do write in the comments below on this YouTube video or message us on social media. You know what I mean? Your opinions, because I'm really curious. Like, are we alone here? Like on like fandom levels? Because obviously, all like this movie has low ratings from actual critics. You know what I mean? But like from people who play video games and love Mario and love the
gamer,
this stuff. You know what I mean? Are we in some sort of outlier for real? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too mean here and just assuming, but whatever. I don't know.
No, I was just gonna add. I think I was just gonna add. Like, I mean, I try to see a lot of movies every year. One of my goals this year is to watch 100 unique movies, not counting rewatches. I'm on a good roll right now. I'm at 26. I think 27 with this one. Maybe 26, 27. So I'm getting there. Hitting my 8 a month right now is the rough math on that. But like I say, all this is like not everyone needs to be watching every little thing. I mean, it'd be awesome. I want people to enjoy things and go do what they want, like watch what they want to watch or explore even things that they don't necessarily always watch. It's one of my things is like reason I'm doing 100 movies because I'm also watching movies I'm like 5, 6, 7 years ago I probably would never have looked at this movie as interesting, but now I'm going to go see it because I just like this actor. It could be as simple as that, like whatever it is. But like what Ethan's saying is like, I think you could apply that to a lot of movies in general. Is like not every movie has to have like this life changing impact necessarily, but more of just like, yeah, in 6 months they're going to really be like, oh yeah, that was peak. Like I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot out there to see, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like I said, outside the action and the animation, it's just kind of like this is like fine at best. Like even on just a general, like I watched Hoppers. I didn't even necessarily love that movie, and I think I had a lot of qualms with it. But at least that one had like a story that I could engage with and like think about and critique. There's nothing to critique here, like outside of do you like the flashy colors? And I hate I don't want to dumb it down that. I feel like I'm dumbing it down there, but like, because I definitely watch stuff occasionally, right? Like we all have our vices, I guess you can say, but I don't, whatever. Like I watch stuff too where it's like, hey, that's a sound, this song sounds cool. I don't think too deeply in it, we move on. And that's what this movie is. It's like, you don't think too deeply, you just watch it, and that's cool. But at the same time, like, can these movies be more than just flashy colors? I shouldn't use it like that because I feel really bad because the animation is very top notch and it does look really good. Don't get me wrong, but like that's the only thing going for it. Like there should be some story here. I think we deserve something more than what this movie is. Even with like the Borderlands movie, that movie, like we don't care for Borderlands personally, but like I'm sure there was some people who came out of that theater excited for that, and then they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Well,
you know what I mean? So
even
like,
if you don't walk away and be like, "Oh, that movie wasn't good," and you still like the movie, I guess our main criticism of the speed as what prevents that movie from actually being like great. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the things that in the moment you're like, "Oh, this was great. This was, I like this part. I like this part," but like thinking back on it moves way so quickly that like you cannot sit and appreciate what's there. It was like a third of the way into the movie and they're still setting shit up, man. A third of the way in the movie, they're still setting shit up. And it's insane to me. That like, oh, it felt like nothing happened. And like, and again, because, I'm used to video games and again, a Mario Galaxy sets it up right at the beginning and then you have this whole adventure and then the ending stuff. But, that's not how movies are designed. But even then, still, this movie was a lot of things being set up right up until the end, and I don't know. We talked about the lack of resolutions on stuff, but anyway,
yeah,
we got to give this movie a score.
There could have been more, and and I want people to. I hope people were like. I feel like you could have got like the fact that there's the talent and stuff that went into this because there is talent here for 110%. We can't discount that, but just the fact that like. You just come away feeling like, what did I just feel like I got blasted with, like you said, sugar. I think it's a great way to describe it. It's like, yeah, in the moment, you're like, yeah, I love my sugar. Yeah. And you're like, no, I'm not going to remember that tomorrow. Like, I'm going to think about, I want to enjoy a meal. I want to be like, I like the hamburger and French fries or whatever, like, I think it's a good way of looking at it where it's like, hey, we all like our sugar. Don't get us wrong. But like, we didn't, kind of were hoping for something a little bit more. I didn't want. I'll never forget.
I'll never forget the best steak I ever had at the Longhorn Steakhouse, Mother's Day. I had a ribeye. Like I'll never forget that type of thing. But like I had candy all the time. I had too much candy, maybe one might say. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. It's a bad analogy, but
yeah. But no, no, I feel bad for, like I said earlier, for like say flashy colors because it's not fair to it because there is some really cool stuff, but like story wise, just there's none, and character development none really at all, and
like I guess
too much going on. I guess
ultimately to go off what you're saying here, like a video game doesn't need to have a story, a movie does. Ultimately, a movie fails when it doesn't.
A movie is closer to theater in the traditional sense where you have your characters, you have a start and ending, right? Video games to me have always been, yes, you can tell stories through that medium, but video games are to me first and foremost like in a playground in a virtual sense,
right? it's player
add to it.
expression. You know what I mean? And how
You
well
can
you accomplish
create your own
that.
story. You can make a story of like, how did we get to the monkey bars? Sure. Or the game could just jump you in and be like, you're going across the monkey bars, you're going onto the slide, and you go down the slide, and that's fun. And that's okay for a video game. But for a movie,
right,
it can't just be like action sequence.
Right.
And it's like,
and that's not to
okay,
say that like
anymore.
movies are better than games or anything like that. They are different mediums, and you're trying to traverse these mediums. So you need to respect what the medium you're walking into is doing. And I feel like this movie, you know, on the production end, producers end there with Miyamoto and Nintendo, don't see it this I can see at the end of the day this movie being considered more on the marketing angle of what Nintendo does, more so than the product angle, you know, than what Nintendo does.
Sure.
I can just see that being on the bean counters there, having it in some spreadsheet for finances, considering it more of like a thing that will pay off later versus a thing that keeps making money now. You know what I mean? They'll release a Mario game and it'll keep making money for years and years versus like this is meant to have those Mario games make money. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, that's just not a level of respect to the medium and the craft that you know, deserves, because like eventually there will be a third movie and a fourth movie and a whatever, right? And a whole Nintendo universe of movies. And will we remember this individual, the Super Mario Galaxy movie? You know, will we remember the second movie as its own thing? Like we do with Sonic Movie 2, that's the only movie in the Sonic universe that's an S rank, and I doubt this movie's getting there. We got to give this movie a score, Devin. I already kind of said what I was thinking before, so I'll just very quickly just say my quick pitch. I'm sitting at a D, going up to a C potentially. And if you're watching this review and you don't watch any of our other reviews, we have an A, B, C, D, E, and F thing going on with S above A. S is super special. It's, you know, it's more than just an amazing film. It's got something special going on that makes it top notch, top dog on the video game movie kind of curve that we're doing here. We gave the Super Mario Brothers movie an A. We also gave the Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 film an A. We gave Sonic 2 an S, and gave Sonic 3 a B. Personally speaking, how we define D is boring, dull, or perhaps just a completely wasted potential, like how we talk about Assassin's Creed or Warcraft. That's where I'm leaning with this movie, if I'm being fair to how I kind of feel my own feelings on the movie are being defined by what these tiers are. But like you say, the animation and all of that does make me feel like it doesn't deserve to be that low. And that's how I could maybe see a C. But I don't know. What do you think, Devin? Where were you thinking about for putting this movie?
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about the rankings, for me, like B's always been more good than bad. D's more bad than good. Just to make it a little bit easier for me, at least in my head, when we talk about it. But I also agree, a lot of times the D movies are just boring. Despite, even if they're well, I mean, I'll say this, even despite they're being well made, because you mentioned Warcraft. Warcraft visually, at least for at the time, looked really good. Like, looked really well made, and you're like, oh shit, this is very well, like, put together. But it's one of those movies where it's like, where just for whatever reason, just wasn't interesting plot-wise, and then also story-wise. Assassin's Creed, same thing. Had some cool set pieces and action sequences, but it had a lot of story that was just like, what is this talking about? Like, why are we doing this? Or what's the goal? What's the theme that we're trying to learn from this? Or it was trying to be smart, you know what I mean? And like, it just came across being like, you decide. And it's like, okay, cool, dude. Afraid to make an opinion, I guess. I don't know. That's all I really remember from that movie.
Movie's kind of similar.
You have free will, but like, maybe you don't. I don't know. So I mean, going into this call, I was like, maybe this is a C, and maybe I'm just being too harsh, because I did feel very like, maybe I'm like I said, I felt really tired going to the theater, so I was like, maybe I was just tired and like I wasn't, you know, like locked in or something like that. It happens, whatever. You know, you put on a movie, they're like, oh, this is good. I just fell asleep or whatever because I was just tired or whatever. I had to go. I went in with good and like came into this call with good intentions, because I was like, but here's my critiques of it. But the more we talk about it, the more we compare it to other films, I'm like, I think this is actually a pretty easy lock in at D. I know we've ranked other movies before that we're like, hey, at least visually it looks good, and it has fallen in D before. I don't think of any E's. I think E is like more all encompassing, right? Just bad. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing redeeming in it. At least if you watch this once, it's not the end of the world, right? Like, you watch this once, maybe with your kids or whatever. Maybe you have to watch it 10 times, like you said, with the DVD goes missing. But like,
I guess
at least visually,
the difference between D and E in terms of like why you would feel like they're bad, at least for me, is that E is like irredeemable and D is a disappointment. Like, oh, you could have done better. Yeah. But E is like there's no going back. And like, no, you just didn't make a good thing at all. Like, there is nothing here to wish that there was better. It's just you made trash.
Yeah. And I think I never thought about E just because it is well made, like visually speaking. Like, it is like the Illumination Studios know what they're doing at this point, and it shows. Keep thinking about that puppet scene. That's probably my favorite scene of the whole movie, I guess, just because that's the only one I really visually remember.
And story-wise, there's heart there. That's sad to say,
yeah,
but like,
yeah,
you know.
But yeah, so I never thought about E at all. So I feel like this is just an easy D. I think I was trying to find a way to bring up to C, just because like I just feel bad because, like I said, it visually looks cool and I liked the color palettes throughout the movie. But at the same time, to its detriment, is it tried to cram too much in, and too quickly it moved on, that we don't resonate with being like, holy shit, that T-Rex came and like that was cool. I like that the roar was the same roar they use in Jurassic Park because it's owned by Universal, so they can do that. That's a cool little Easter egg. But you know, it needed 3 set pieces, not 25. You know what I mean? And I think it would have been, like you said, more memorable. But I think this is an easy D, just on a video game movie scale, and just visually at least looks nice. Like, if I'm going to take sugar, like you said, cool, great. But like, we wanted a full-on meal for dinner. We didn't want sugar. So D for disappointment for sure, I think, on this one. I
think we're in agreement.
You know, I wasn't going in super hyped either way, but just like the fact that I still felt disappointed is something.
Yeah. This movie did kind of sneak up on when they started to actually do like the marketing rollout last year. I was like, oh right, okay, yeah. They're making a sequel. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that like they're like, Donald Glover is Yoshi, and I like Donald Glover, I like his music, but I was like, oh, it's weird that they're announcing that. It must like, and then I didn't make the connection. I'm like, oh, because it comes out fucking next week. Like, that's why they're doing like one last minute like reveal to get people. Because I was like, it was him and Glenn Powell were the 2 like back-to-back reveals, and I'm like, oh yeah, because this movie comes out in June or whatever. I'm like, you know,
April.
It was weird to be like, oh yeah, it's coming out next week. Shit,
and both of those actors, we gotta have a story around of them being like, and I demanded to be in this movie. I went up and said, you gotta put me in this movie, please. You know what I mean? Like that subtle like marketing way of doing it, where like, no, like Donald Glover didn't just go up and be like, you're making a Mario movie, can I be Yoshi? Glenn Powell didn't be like, can I be Star Fox in your movie? Like, no, like, there was a casting
I believe
call.
Donald Glover way more than Glenn Powell, 100%.
Well, I put them both in the same camp of like, there was a cast, like, this is an altered version of the story to make it, you know, because I believe that they are fans of Mario and Star Fox. It would be weird if Glenn Powell completely lied about that. It would be like very off-putting if he completely lied. Got to have Tom Cruise play his dad in flashbacks in the Star Fox movie after the Top Gun Maverick. But I don't know. But there's just like I cannot help but see this whole thing as a cog in the Nintendo marketing machine, as someone who watches Nintendo Directs live and consumes them like media. You know what I mean? I understand full well how this is, but I still couldn't walk away from this movie oblivious to that. Anyway, we gave this movie a D. Hey, you can do better, Nintendo, and Illumination or whoever is going to be making a Star Fox movie. I imagine they'll keep their partnership for a third Mario movie. But they teased at the end. I guess they were teasing that there would be a Star Fox movie. I guess it would be weird for them to just not have any resolution for Fox McCloud at all. I guess like he's got to say I'm going home now. Thanks, goodbye. I guess they have to say that somewhere. Otherwise, is he hanging out with them? I don't know. Maybe that's all that was, but I feel like they're doing that to make a movie.
I didn't even think too deeply. I was just at that point. I was just like,
you were asleep.
all right.
Yeah. I don't know if the rest of that scene with the little Luma said hello maggots, and then though like my brain went to like at the end of Batman v Superman teaser for the
God.
Justice League movie where you got Jesse Eisenberg's Doom being like, he's coming and he's hungry, the dinner bell is dong dong. Like that's what I thought this movie was referencing at the end there. Is Darkseid gonna come in?
He was the star.
It was the one from the first one.
Yeah, who was doing the do you ever think about dying or whatever?
Yeah, which was a funny part from that first movie. Yeah. But I didn't know if like again, just how calculated these are. Was that teasing something specific? I don't know, and I don't really care. But then the Daisy.
You ever heard of the Avengers Initiative?
Yes, exactly. We got to have that in there. But then the Daisy one at the end there was like, yeah, okay.
The piano.
She's got the eye patch too. That was so like I don't know. The Daisy one to me. Someone took notes after Sonic 3's ends and like, oh. Okay, they showed Amy. They didn't voice her, so they can decide later who to cast. Do the same thing with Daisy. 100%.
Can I, while we're on this, cause just for fun, I just want to throw this out here, and I'm blaming Marvel for this as well, because I don't remember this happening before Marvel, really. But I'm tired of the end credit shit. I'm so annoyed. Just stop.
It did happen.
I'm done.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off was the first one to do that. But it was more of it was a joke. It was him in a bathroom like, why are you still here?
I'm okay with gags.
Movie's
sure.
over.
If it's a comedy movie, sure. Throw in a blooper reel or whatever the fuck you want. Unless you're Shrek, like I don't want it anymore. I'm tired of
Shrek credits thing.
We have to put another reference, the big one.
And obviously they're
even
going
with the Sonic shit. Stop. Just it ends, all right?
But then also tell us that you're not going to do it, because otherwise if I'm sitting there anyway, then yeah, I want something. But if I'm told ahead of time, I don't. I mean,
I Google it now. I Google it, but the fact that I feel like I have to Google for 70, I know. I'm happy to save you 20 minutes if I can. Not 20 minutes, but like it feels that way sometimes after, especially one when I didn't like the movie. I'm like Five Nights at Freddy's. I think I told you there was something at the end, and I don't think I actually. I think I Googled it. I'm like, there's something. I don't think I was so mad.
I don't think I saw it either. I don't remember saying.
I think I was, because there was two of them. So I watched the first one, and then there was an end credit one. And I Googled what it was, and it's like, oh, someone laughs at the end, and I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm walking up this down. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
But like for real, I'm like, stop with even with the stuff I like. I'm like, I don't mind like, hey, you're digesting a film. You know, you're like, wow, that was such a great film. And, oh wait, one little thing at the end. Like I get it to some degree, but everyone does it now, and all these pop culture things, and I'm like, stop. Be okay with just being like, just showing it. Let it be the last talking point when the credits are rolling and you're sitting there. Nothing's at the end, but just you and your friends are talking about, hey, that was cool. You know, like.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you because like
it's like the end of I don't know, going back to the play meta, like comparing it to an old plays. It's like I don't think they had anyone come out at the end and be like,
some pooks their head. And
Loki will return. Like
head pops through the curtains. You're like, there's a sequel to the Phantom of the Opera and it's terrible, but you can watch it next week on the other side of Broadway. There is a sequel to The Phantom of the Opera, and it is terrible.
Is there?
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really
the fact I haven't heard of it.
Oh my god,
it makes sense.
It's not good at all. But
I don't know, sorry, just random tangent where I'm like,
no, I'm with you because as I mentioned, I'm sitting there, be like, okay, these need to tease things, and like if I cannot figure out what the jail cell part of the first teaser was meant to tease, then
it's a I think it's just showing that, hey, the Bowsers are fine. And
it's just a gag. It's a gag. I get it. But, like, the fact that I had to sit there and be like, what is this supposed to be teasing is a bad sign of what it is. And the Daisy one was so, like, again, mile a minute, was she just one frame on screen that they held?
I really,
You know
like,
what
quick,
I mean?
get your phone out and take a photo and put it on
You know what I mean? I bet it's on YouTube
social
already.
media.
I bet it's on YouTube because legitimately, I did like the end of Sonic 3's one that showed Amy because that was a scene. That was a full ass scene that they did. You know what I mean?
Or you know what? I mean, maybe like I was saying, we were contradicting ourselves, being like we like these ones, right? Like, you know,
Sure.
all,
Again,
not
and
trying to
in
be too
Mario
all or
1, I
nothing,
wanted
but-
everything that they did in this movie, and I feel ashamed of my words and deeds, a la Hideo Kojima. So I don't know.
But I'll say, like, I was with after Fast X when like The Rock was back. I'm like, yeah, sure, man, whatever, hell yeah. I was hyped because
How many
I was
years
like,
ago was
the
that?
beef is settled, maybe.
Ugh, yeah, the beef is settled.
Well, now The Rock.
Through
Now I
the-
can't trust The Rock because he still hasn't shown up a year and 2 months since he last appeared at WWE when he's supposedly the guy who's orchestrating everything. It's like,
He's
okay,
the final
he just
boss.
didn't show up,
Yeah,
but not really because the boss doesn't show back up to work.
you don't give a
It's funny.
fuck.
Everything's a reference.
Everything's a
end
reference.
credit scenes.
Yep. Anyway, thank you guys for watching out there. I should probably walk over to our end credit scene. Where is it? Right here.
Oh, we
That's
should
right.
we should do a post credits after this.
Sure. Okay, let's do a post. What do you want to do for the post credits?
I'll say the Sonic Movie Show will return with another episode. But like,
Oh.
but let's outro and then we'll.
You know what I'm gonna do? We already recorded our detention video. I'll put it like a 10 seconds of that randomly at the end here. There's your. Because
And it
sometimes
says the Sonic Movie Show will return.
because again, sometimes these post-credit Marvel ones are just scenes from the next movie. Sometimes they're just a fucking scene that they already
It's a
filmed.
footstep of someone walking into a room, and then there's
Exactly.
I didn't
Exactly.
expect you to be here.
Exactly. Sometimes they are just scenes from a movie that they are also still filming for the next. And it's anyway, folks. We're the Sonic Movie
You should
Show.
have it be. You should have it before you intro David in the next episode. So that's like the big reveal is that David's in the next Sonic
Okay.
Movie Show that he's normally on, anyways.
Okay. Subscribe to the channel. Click that. There's. Please subscribe to the channel. Fucking Christ! Subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.
Bye. Natural pregnancies, they're like everything's so modern science. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that reviews every single video game movie. My name is Ethan, and with me here to talk about a Taiwanese film that's very serious is Devin.
Government kills.
And with us once more for his second pick in this season,